Why did you physically come out for this protest today?
It's because of what is happening in the country. There's hunger, there's hardship. It's impossible for us to feed again. People are dying of starvation. People can no more send their children to school because they cannot afford the escalating school fees. People are losing their relatives and their friends and their children and their elderly ones to very minor sickness and illnesses because they cannot afford money for medicine and money to pay for Medicare because of the escalating cost of health care. Many, don't have any jobs at all. Many have lost their jobs because over the past 12 months, over 10 to 15 multinational companies have closed their firms here in this country. And why have we had all of this? Because on May 29, President Tinubu decided to remove fuel subsidy. And from that time, Nigeria has been in this problem. He also increased the electricity tariff and devalued the naira. And alongside that, implemented a number of neoliberal and anti-poor economic policies that have turned all of our life to what it is today, yes, whereby most of us can no more afford to eat 3 times in a day. So that this struggle is about the Nigerian worker whose pay can no more take home. 70,000 naira can never buy a bag of rice today. And that is what President Tinubu says he wants to be paying to Nigerian workers. Yes. This struggle is about the traders and the artisans who don't have customers anymore. And even when they sell, that money that they make is not enough to feed them again. It's about the students whose future is now bleak. And it's about all of us, yes, who are in this situation of hardship. This struggle is to say enough is enough.
Yes, can you state some of your demands, sir?
Our demands are: 1, the reversal of fuel price to pre-May 29, 2023 level. Reversal of electricity tariff to pre-May 29, 2023 level. Reversal of all anti-poor and neoliberal policies that the government has implemented. Better funding of public education. We don't want loans. We want students to be given grants, because loans means that students are going to be trapped in lifelong indebtedness. Yes, we want decent job creation. There are no jobs in this country. Many people, when they graduate 10 years after, they still don't have a job. And we're also asking for unemployment allowance to those who don't have a job. Because what they are doing in this country now is that if you don't have a job, then it means that you have to die of starvation. Many people have hung themselves on many bridges in Lagos, committing suicide over the past few months. Yes. We don't want to continue to lose our young men, and that's why we need this unemployment benefit. We want the refineries to be fixed, new ones built, but most importantly, they should be put under democratic workers' control and management. We also want the power sector, that privatization that has failed since year 2013, to be reversed, and for the power sector to be placed under democratic workers' control and management. We think that something needs to be done about Nigeria's economy, because what we know is that this country is very wealthy. Nigeria is one of the wealthiest countries in Africa, even in the world. Yes. Why is it that despite that, millions of our people are wallowing in poverty? It is simply because we are practicing a capitalist economic system which is built to only ensure that a few people are rich at the expense of the mass majority. Our struggle is to demand also the end to that exploitative economic system of capitalism and for a socialist economic alternative that can ensure that Nigeria's wealth will be made available for the betterment of all. We don't want to end this struggle and go back to our life of poverty again, and go back to our life of not being able to eat again. We want total structural and social transformation of the way this country is run.
During the press conference, you accused the police of sabotage. How would you say the police has been ever since we started this protest this morning?
Well, it's still too early to begin to assess the police, because we know how they operate. Yes. But so far now, what they have been doing is to try to prevent us, from continuing the rally here, insisting that we must obey the Jankara court ruling restricting protests in Lagos State to just 2 centers. Well, because we don't want violence, because we also understand what is being done, there are around us here and across several places in Lagos State, militias, thugs affiliated to the ruling party who have already been given money and weapons to descend on peaceful protesters. So we are not going to give them that chance. And that's why we have democratically discussed among ourselves, and we have resolved that at a certain point in time, we are going to march peacefully to Ojota And that is because the CP has given us an assurance that Ojota is going to be a place that we can be able to protest peacefully without any attacks. But we also know not to take the CP by his words. And this is very important because the CP of police, I can't remember his name now, also has a moment in history to be able to demonstrate that he is not the deceptive person that we saw on June 12th. And why do I say this? We've never said this out before. But on June 12th, the CP told us that one of the leaders of our movement, Kwame Junwo, was not in their custody. He was arrested on the eve of the movement. He said he was not in their custody. They didn't have him with them. And he was here with us during the protest on June 12th. Only for us the next day to go to the DS and they said they didn't have him. And then we then discovered that he was actually at the police command. In fact, when he was arrested, he was taken to the office of the CP. Then his presence was handcuffed and tortured. So when you have had a CP who lied to us brazenly, openly, just a few months back, and he's saying that if we go to Ojota, nothing will happen to us, it means that we are not exactly sure that we are not walking into a trap. But we're also doing this, we're also calling on the media to be witness to whatever is going to happen. So that as soon as we are moving, please ensure that even ahead of us, you send your people there. Whatever is going to happen to us, let it happen in the full glare. The reality is that the stage we are in this country, no poor person, no worker who is struggling to survive, no young person who does not have a future should be afraid of dying in this struggle. Because without death itself, then what exactly are we doing, given the kind of life that we are living? So we are prepared for anything. We are not violent. If they insult us, we are not going to respond. If they market us, we are not going to respond. If they shoot us, we are not going to respond. If they want to kill us, we are going to die on our feet in our honor. We know what we are fighting for. It is not just our own life. It is the life of the unborn generation.